Hello, we are back again today to learn a bit more about the Pixelmon 2.5.2 Plus database and how you can edit it to set up your own perfect and custom Pixelmon server. To begin, you're going to need two files. This Pixelmon 2.5.2.zip available from the Pixelmon website. As you can see, I've gone ahead and extracted that to my desktop. So there are two folders inside, Assets and Pixelmon. What you're going to want to do is click the Pixelmon folder followed by the database folder and copy that address. And second, you're going to need the H2 database. I'm going to put a link for both these in the description. It's a really straightforward installation. Just click it, run it, choose a directory, press install, and then you can load it and it should appear up in your task tray like so. Here are the settings that I'm using. I believe these are the defaults for the generic H2 embedded. The only thing you need to change is under this JDBC URL. We're going to select this address, replace it with the one that you just copied, and then type in Pixelmon, capital P, 2. And we can go ahead and test the connection. Yep, it should say test successful. Let's go ahead and connect to this. Alright, so today the Pokemon we're going to be working with is Mewtwo. And it's only Mewtwo. You can do this with any Pokemon in the database, but Mewtwo is just the only one I believe that does not spawn in the game naturally, so he seems like the obvious choice. Before we begin, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the list of biomes, and these are just some kind of reference things you can use while you're editing other Pokemon, just generally useful I suppose you could say. These are the IDs that Pixelmon uses for each of the biomes. If you want to set a Pokemon to spawn in a specific biome, you're going to want to use the number associated with the biome instead of the biome name. Today we're going to be making Mewtwo spawn in a desert, so we're going to use 2, nice and simple. Let's go ahead and switch to the Pixelmon database. So I believe I showed this briefly in my other video. It's just a gigantic list of every Pokemon in the game in order of the Pixelmon ID, and along the top here are all of the values for the Pokemon. Right, so we're going to go ahead and search for Mewtwo here. You notice that he is Pixelmon ID 107. This will be important, keep that in mind. If you're following this tutorial with a different Pokemon, then make sure you use that Pokemon's ID and not 107. Alright, so you get 107, Mewtwo. All these are just kind of values you can ignore. The ones of interest today are going to be these 3, which if you scroll all the way back up to the top, you'll notice are Rarity Dawn Dusk, Rarity Day, and Rarity Night, aka spawn rates, as well as is ridable and can fly. Back down to Mewtwo again. I did learn this trick recently. If you just type @edit before and then run it again, it brings up the column where you can choose to edit each individual entry in the database. I might make it a bit quicker for some of you who don't want to scroll all the way down to the bottom of this to click the edit button that's normally there. Anyway, back to the tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and click edit on Mewtwo. Now the database is going to collapse just visually. You didn't do anything wrong, it's just apparently how it works, so you're just going to have to scroll back up to where we were working before. And scroll all the way over to Mewtwo's spawn values. What you'll notice are null, null, and null, aka he does not spawn in the game at all. What we're going to do is set it to a really high value. Let's see. Say Zubat. Zubats are friggin' everywhere. We can just set each of these to 200, which means he's going to be spawning all the time. So we can get rid of null, type 200, 200, and 200. So these 5 values are the stats. I'm not actually sure which order they're in. Looks like HP, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. If we scroll back down to Mewtwo, you can notice his special attack is very high. And you know what? We're actually going to give him a nice buff to that. Let's say he wants a 1500 special attack, just because. So we'll give him that. Then you can scroll over further. And if you remember, these are the is ridable and can fly values. We're going to set both of these to true. And this is actually all you have to do in the Pixelmon database. Now we are going to switch over to another database called Pixelmon Spawn Biomes. Go ahead and load that. And this is actually, you can ignore this column. This is again for the mod to reference. this is the Pixelmon's ID that you saw in the Pixelmon database, and here is the ID of the biome that they spawn in. So here we're going to want to type in 107, which is Mewtwo's ID. A quick note, make sure you do not use the entry that has 107 in the leftmost column, because that again is Pixelmon's way of identifying, or of organizing, I guess, how each of these Pixelmon spawn. You want to use the Pixelmon ID that's in the middle column. So Mewtwo's spawn ID, or his spawn biome ID, is 254. Mewtwo's Pixelmon ID is 107, and naturally he spawns in biome 3. We don't want that. We're going to go ahead and change this to biome 2, which again is desert. We looked it up at the start of the video, and we can go ahead and save. And I believe that concludes everything that we have to do in the database for now. So let's go ahead and disconnect from this and close it. Make sure you close the console as well, otherwise you're going to have some issues on this next step. Go ahead and get rid of the zip file, double click this, choose the 2 folders inside, and make sure you do not just right click on this folder, by the way, and choose add to archive, because that will prevent Pixelmon from loading properly. You have to open the folder, select them, then do add to archive. And choose a zip, just press OK. I believe it can have any name you want, but I'm just going to leave it with the default name for the sake of simplicity in this tutorial. Okay, drag this out here. Open up our fresh Minecraft installation directory. Open up mods and drag this inside. And now to test it. We'll go ahead and open up Minecraft. Make sure you have the correct profile selected with the directory that you're using. It'll take a tiny bit longer to load every time you make a database change and put the new Pixelmon inside, because I believe it has to unpack everything again and set it up for your use. Okay, we're gonna make a new single player world. And let's call this test. Set the game mode to creative, allow cheats on, and oh whoops, that's not right. Actually, we can just go with a random seed. I don't think it'll take us too long to find a desert. I had another seed on my clipboard before that put a desert as spawn, and it was really convenient, but I don't think it matters too much here. Brings up our welcome screen. Let's choose any of these, and let's fly around for a tiny bit to see if we can find a desert biome here. Oh wow, what's that? I have not seen any of these before. So I just recently got into Minecraft again, so a lot of this is still new to me, including Pixelmon actually. It's just I've always been into editing mods to my liking, so I figured that why change with Pixelmon. And bear with me here, so it might take a tiny bit to find a desert. Oh, you should also note that the topics that I'm covering in these videos are by no means everything you can do with the database. I mean, you could theoretically set up a Pixelmon entirely, however you would like. Just pretty much make any conceivable change that you want. So I actually had a setup earlier today where I was messing with evolution chains. I had it so you could evolve a Golem into a Vulpix using a Firestone, and evolve the Vulpix into a Leafeon using a Leaf Stone. And then at level 90, the Leafeon evolved into a Dragonite. This is a bit of a problem now, isn't it? It may actually be faster for me to just go grab the seed. Give me 1 second. This one should work. Okay, so create new world. Oops, there we go. There we are. Alright, as you can see, there are already quite a few Mewtwo spawning. So you have one right there. Or maybe not quite a few, just that one. So we set its frequency to pretty high, so there should be quite a few popping up over the next couple of minutes. But at least seeing that first Mewtwo lets you know that it works. So, oh, yep, there's another right there. As well as a little tiny Mewtwo right there. Alright, so that's definitely working. And to test our other change out, we can go ahead and give ourselves a Mewtwo. There we are. Check out its summary to see if the stat changes worked. Oh, yeah, they definitely worked. That is an absolutely ridiculous special attack. And we can go ahead and sort this guy out. Do note that if you allow a Pokemon to be ridden that is not normally allowed to be ridden, it's not going to have an animation, so this is going to look quite funny, I'd imagine. You can go ahead and right click on them. Oh, it's definitely working so far. I say I should be able to move around and push on top of them, and also fly. Yep, his legs are kind of flailing a bit strangely in the air, but I mean, it's definitely working. Alright, well I hope to learn a bit more about editing the database from this tutorial. If you have any feedback for me, please leave it in the comments, and good luck with your changes.